compelled to share my view on a certain topic. Everything that has happened since Charlie Kirk's assassination, some people get annoyed by this topic because it just keeps going on and on and on, and they want to move on. It seems healthy to want to move on from such a tragedy, but there is so much more to this story. I felt the same way about Kyle Rittenhouse and his whole court hearing. That was like a litmus test to see what the people will accept as truth. And if we allow Charlie Kirk to be murdered in broad daylight on full campus, and then we put somebody in jail, and they even mentioned death penalty options, which is ridiculous. We put Tyler Robinson away in prison for, say, life. Have you seen any physical evidence of him being on that campus besides a blurry photo of a figure jumping off a roof that could have been any male? Have you seen any evidence that he ever shot that gun? They're trying to make it seem so open and close, and that's a trick. And just the way the Rittenhouse case divide everybody, and like people thought it was way different than it was, but in all actuality, it was a self-defense case. Cut away all the other details. That was a self-defense case, and he was being attacked at the time when he defended himself with his firearm. He hadn't won that case. Rapidly accelerated the inevitable process of them taking away firearms from citizens in America. If you don't understand why that's important, then they're not there as a right for shooting others. They're there to defend yourself against the government if it shall become corrupt. Just remember that. The Rittenhouse case was a litmus test, in my opinion, about self-defense, and people almost let that kid go rot in a jail cell for the rest of his life for defending himself. Obviously, things were like way more politically heated at that moment, but now with the Charlie Kirk thing, he has become like the symbol right when everything divided. Trump's base divided. Trump lost right before that, kind of. All of the voters he had in the last election, I didn't vote for him at first. I used to hate him, but I voted for him over Kamala Harris in the most recent election. Sorry, I'm kind of sick. I'm getting over it. But he was speaking very vaguely back then, if you recall. He wasn't saying the type of shit he's saying now, not even close. People on the other side could argue he's always had like running his mouth type moments, and that's true. That's why I used to hate him in the first place. But I thought, okay, this is a corrupt businessman, not a corrupt like power, evil world leader type man. That seems to have all been a front. I'm wondering if it was him just faking it the whole time, or if now he is just changed, like maybe he's afraid for his life. Now I'm questioning the Butler, Pennsylvania thing. To be honest, I know I shouldn't say this, but how much better would it have been for Trump if they would have actually just capped him that day? Because he would have gone down with a legacy that was a little bit respectable still, on the at least with right-wing voters. It would have been like a tragedy for them to lose him. Now look at what he has become. Everybody like me that voted for him, that was a not just all the way conservative, but a middle ground, like common sense thinking, case by case type of thinker, like, and libertarians. And I voted for him when I saw Tulsi Gabbard next to him and Kennedy. He's a letdown. I won't even get into that. But it just seemed like there might be a chance. It seemed like there could be hope. And I was trying to be optimistic. And so I voted for him. I would have not voted if I knew what he would become. Israel's bitch. He just bends over for Netanyahu. This all links back to Charlie Kirk. Even though that sounds absurd, it's a test, a social test to see what we will tolerate. Are you going to tolerate somebody being murdered in front of you for your kids to see, like also shared around the world, the moment he lost his life so tragically? And then we're going to just put somebody away, proof that this guy was the shooter. I wouldn't be talking like this, but we're going off a blurry photo and text thread that they've already like partially debunked at this point. If they just put him in jail and we allow that to happen, it will be like a turning point. No pun intended. It will be a marker for what we will allow, and things will get worse quickly. I feel the same way about Rittenhouse. I think it only slowed down what was inevitable. Like, they are going to take away our rights slowly, fast, if they can, but this is one of the tests. This is one of the markers. Otherwise, they wouldn't have killed him publicly. That is the biggest part of this. They killed him publicly for a reason. Why? Why would they want to do it in front of the world? If you really believe a left-wing, crazy, like, furry lover did that, like, please try again. I'm not saying Tyler Robinson isn't involved. He probably is involved in something. They probably had him thinking he was a part of a coordinated thing, but he is not a lone gunman. I mean, shouldn't we know this script by now? Shouldn't we be able to predict it and call it out? If they put him away for murdering Charlie Kirk at this point, it means that our country doesn't have a just law and order system anymore. He is just falling for the Tyler Robinson thing. I want you to really think about this. Like, have you seen any evidence with your eyes that they have shown anywhere that is even making you feel that that is the same person that was holding a huge ass gun on the campus that he didn't even go to? 4.0 GPA at a different university, but Charlie Kirk was just so hateful that he wanted to just take him out. That it's crazy. It's more conspiracy theory than what the conspiracy theorists are theorizing. I hope that people wake up to what they're doing. I feel like they are. I will admit, when Charlie Kirk was alive, I used to post videos on my stories on Instagram of him kind of getting like clowned on college campuses by people on the Israel topic, always about Muslims. I posted them like kind of making fun of him, and I feel bad, but it was true at the time. But I liked him because when people would tell him something, you could see him actually learning, processing that what they're saying might be true, and most likely went and studied into it more after. One example that I'm sure others have seen online, on a campus, there's a Palestinian actually, and he said, some of my family lives in Tehran. This is before the war, obviously. And Charlie Kirk said, do you think I'd be able to walk around wearing a cross freely there? And the guy and this other guy behind him, they both were like, yes. And the kid that was speaking said, family is from Armenia and they're Christians and they live in Tehran and they've been there for years, and they go to church and they're allowed to practice their religion there. And you could see Charlie at that moment, like actually processing it for real. Like, he was getting to the point where he freaking realized what was happening, which is why they capped him, obviously. Like, why on earth? Somebody really hated a right-wing influencer. Can you please just aim for someone like Crowder or like Shapiro or Dan Bongina? Any of these idiots that are actually disgusting and vile to listen to? Charlie Kirk, I didn't agree with him on so much. He was authentic, and you could tell that he had an open mind and was up for debating ideas always. That should be king over all else. Yeah, it's sad that they just so easily took out somebody like that. Somebody with such a mind, and it's not an accident. People wouldn't have been investigating for months and months if it were Crowder. There are so many men on the right that are absolutely vile and hard to listen, not hard to, unbearable to listen to, that think they're something, that are nothing. And it's just like sad that they had to take out one that actually had potential. And he was finally getting there. He was finally getting there with the topic of Israel. You know, it would have been beautiful to see what he did over the next year even. Like, everything would have been different. This war would have been different. Had a base of followers that were all of the college-educated, rational-minded men, like able-bodied, ready to serve if a draft comes men, okay? He had them listening to his show. Those kind of people are not listening to Shapiro. And the ones listening to, like, Steven Crowder, for example, are the worst toxic masculinity type of idiot that, like, I cannot stand. As Americans in this country, we need to pay attention. We need to not just ignore things when they're this big. When they put it in your face, it seems like they're force feeding it to you. There's a reason for that. Even if you think about the Epstein stuff, think about how much that caused thoughts of just thinking about the vile evil that was committed, just the thought of it occurring. That was placed into the heads of all Americans when they heard about this story. Into the minds of people that would have never thought that way ever once in their life. It's tainting the mind already, just the story itself. And people aren't even being held accountable for that still. With Israel, I feel like people are coming around, which is why I think that Israel is going to go all in right now and do everything that they can to try to reach their prophecy as quickly as possible, which is Netanyahu's objective. He's even, like, on camera asking his rabbi years ago for advice, and the rabbi, holy man, right, said it's not happening fast enough. He's not here. He's not here. Our Messiah is not here. So it's not happening fast enough. You're not doing a good enough job. Speed it up. He got pretty much the blessing from a rabbi to go max. Go max. And what that means for their prophecy is destroying Al-Aqsa, which I think they're going to do in this war. And I think they're going to try to blame Iran, which is so ridiculous because I'm seeing them do this right now with other places like Dubai, UAE, even the Baghdad embassy. Do you really think Iran is the one that bombed them? Come on. If we got any type of huge event right now, I would never assume first it was Iran. I would know it was Israel with the goal and intention of getting civilian support for their war. This is their big bad wolf. This is the big guy, big Bowser, the big boss. He's over years and years in all of these hearings saying he wants regime change in Libya, Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan. I don't know if I said that. He also said Iran. And Iran is different. If people don't realize this, I want to remind people how different Iran is. Iran is not Iraq. Iran is not Afghanistan. Iran is the Persian Empire. Okay? The Persian Empire. A beautiful culture that we should historically want to at least, like, protect and remember.